there, this is Mary Humphrey Coaching. Today we're in a series called Believe and Invest in Yourself. Today we're talking about pursuing new avenues in life and how we stick with that, how we sound when we speak about these avenues that we're pursuing, and how we take steps, we take action steps, and we don't procrastinate. So basically, when we pursue new avenues in life, there's three choices that we can make. We either do it, or we delay doing it. We set a date that we're going to do it when we delay, or we don't do it at all. Doing it now is usually the best choice if you have determined that what you're doing fits in your life. It matches your belief system and it matches your core values in your life. It works best when we have a solid plan in place, of course. A plan that includes specific and measurable goals. We don't want to just say we're going to do something, because what is it you're going to do? When are you going to do it? How are you going to do it? With this in place, we end up focused on the end goal. We don't become overwhelmed with all of the steps that we need to take. We either focus on today's step or the minute steps we're going to take, or we keep our eyes on the end goal. Keeping your eyes on the end goal means you don't go to the left, you don't go to the right. You're focused on that center line, where it's going to take you. It's going to take you to where you need to go. Now, some people say that making choices on a whim don't work. But I'm here to say that sometimes what comes to us on a whim is something that we should have probably done already or done a long time ago. It doesn't mean we take action on a whim. I always pray on it. I always think about it. I roll around on it for a while. But what comes to us on a whim typically is something that we should do for ourselves. Not doing anything at all, deciding that this goal isn't going to work for us, it's best when the goal doesn't fit into our values, our beliefs, or our plans for our life. It's good just to say, let this thing go. Doing it later can be a dangerous choice if we decide to procrastinate, drag our feet, because once we start procrastinating, we start questioning whether or not this goal was for us to begin with. And then we end up not doing things in life that we feel we should do for ourselves, for our businesses, for our homes, for us. And we end up procrastinating. We end up making major delay excuses along with that procrastination. And I'm going to read a few of those excuses to you. I am afraid of change. Who isn't? We can't reach a goal without changing something. What if it does not work out? What if it doesn't? What's the worst thing that could happen? What would people say? We don't care what other people. I will do this after I feel less stress. That's never going to happen in life. Life is filled with stress. I will do this when I have more time. You have to make the time. Otherwise, there's always going to be something more important. I need to feel physically better first. Well, sometimes you do, but what do you need to do today to start feeling physically better tomorrow? Figure that out and set some very specific goals. I have never done this before. Well, that's the joy of doing something new. You've never done this before. So you have some things to learn. You have some things to experience. So I've never done this before is not a good excuse at all. So if you find yourself in some of these major excuses, I want you to ask yourself some very specific questions. Think about this. When will I not fear change? When in your life will you never fear change? What is the worst thing that can happen if this plan does not work out? What's the very worst thing that can happen? You have to start something fresh. Have you learned something in the meantime? What's the worst thing that can happen? Does it matter what other people say? Really and truly? I mean, if it's a major change that involves financially or living arrangements or whatever with your spouse or the one that you love, sure, it's important to hear what they have to say. But it doesn't matter what the world has to say, and especially not on social media. What would have to happen to make me feel less stress? Whatever it is that's stressing you, what would have to happen to make that stress eliminate that stress a bit or make it go away completely. Think about the steps that you can take to eliminate that stress. When will I have more time? How do you make more time? When will I feel better physically? And what can I do now to feel better? And take small steps, even though I don't feel 100%. If you don't feel 100%, do what you can do today. And how do I go about doing it? So there's some minor delay excuses. They look a little bit different than the major delay excuses. I'll do this after my kids leave home. So you put yourself on the back burner for 20-something, 30-something, maybe years. I do not have the money. That's a good excuse. But then there's so much at our fingertips today. There's so much on the internet that's free. Some of it comes with, it says it's free, but then it comes with things we don't want in our lives. But there's a lot of free options out there for us that weren't out there 20-something years ago. So carefully pick through those. My house is not big enough or it's too small. Well, that could be the case. But there's also ways to rent. There's also ways to get around that. We'll talk about that in a minute. I live in the wrong area. I don't know what you're pursuing. And when I wrote this, I can't even remember what I was pursuing. I live in the wrong area. I think a lot of what we can do in life today, it's not area dependent. And, if you have to get up and go somewhere to live in the right area, that's even at our fingertips more so. And I realize that we're living in some rough times as well. So sometimes monetarily, we just can't get up and go. So I understand that. I need training/education. Well, again, there's the internet. It's at our fingertips. If you need training, you need education. There's a lot of online training, and don't scoff at that, please. It can be very helpful, and you're training yourself, you're educating yourself, you're growing yourself, you're doing something that keeps your mind healthy. Go for it. We can make mountains out of minor and major excuses. So the last excuses that I went over, I call them minor excuses because typically these are areas in our lives where we can make change so that we can move forward with our plans. We're investing in ourselves. We believe in ourselves. We move forward when we don't make these minor excuses. Here are some questions to ask yourself when you find yourself making these excuses. What can I do today to move one small step closer to making this goal, this belief, wherever it is I want to go? What can I do today to make it happen? Just one step. Is this a valid excuse that I'm making? Or can I move towards my goal today even though I'm in these circumstances? Is it valid that you're making any of these minor excuses? Or are you just making excuses and maybe just procrastinating on the entire goal that you want to reach? Can I take a class next week, even a free one, just to get started? Can I go sign up for a class today? Can I rent a space or a room in order to find the space that I need to reach my goal? Maybe you need a room to make soap in. Maybe you need a room where you can study. Maybe all you need is a room that has internet connection in it and away from the sound in your home. Maybe you need some privacy. How can I save a small amount of money starting today? What can you get rid of? It may be something that you eat. It may be a different brand of shampoo. But how can you save, even if it's $10 a week, how can you get started saving the money to enable you to go after your dreams and your goals? Can my spouse, my children, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, how can they help me today make the changes in my life so that I can pursue these goals? And by the way, I hope they are helping you. As you know, I do a lot of coaching surrounding narcissism, and you really need that support in your life. You need people that want to see you grow. You need people in your life that know what is good for your mental and your physical health, and they have your back. And people that will tell you the truth when you're moving away from your goals. The day you take the first step, today, tomorrow, you're in motion. And I want you to remember, as long as you're in motion, you're moving towards that goal. You're going towards the things in life that you want to achieve. It doesn't matter if you're moving as slow as a turtle or you're moving as fast as a jackrabbit. It doesn't matter. What matters is you are in motion. Don't ever beat yourself up for moving slowly. And there is so much that we learn in the process. If what we're focused on is moving as quickly as we can, we lose a lot in that process. We don't learn, we don't grow, we don't achieve. Maybe we'll get where we want to go, but once we get there, we may be so overwhelmed that we don't know enough to stay where we are or to grow from that place even. And listen to how you talk. How do you talk about your goals? And you can sound like you're procrastinating. You can sound like you're making excuses, major and minor excuses. So listen to what we have to say here. I think I can. I think I can. I know I can. I will do that. I will probably do that. Or I may do that. Compared to I will do that. I may try it. I am going to try it. I am trying it right now. I am trying it tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. I am trying it in the very near future, or I may try to do it. There's a big difference in how you say things. There's a big difference in how you feel when you say these things. When you say, I am doing this, I've already started doing this. Notice if you're using words that are non-committal. Use committing words. So I hope this is helpful. I like to encourage you to set your goals. Take a deep look at what you see as hurdles and don't accept them. Get over them. Thank you.